Scrum Masters Elite _UK, where rugby is analysed through the lens of emotion and life lessons. Subscribe so you don't miss insightful breakdowns.
As I followed the developments of Round 8 of Super Rugby Pacific, I realized that there are moments in sport that go far beyond simply winning or losing. It feels like an emotional current, where the past, present, and future coexist within an 80-minute match. And in this round, I clearly felt three layers of meaning: a complete farewell, a wake-up shock, and quiet yet powerful messages from leaders on the field. What impressed me the most, and stayed with me the longest, was the Crusaders' farewell to Apollo Project Stadium. A 69-24 victory is more than just a number. If I only looked at the scoreline, I might call it domination, even destruction, but if I pause a little longer, I see it as a closing ritual, almost perfect. It made me wonder, what defines a perfect farewell? Is it simply a big win, or is it about how a journey is brought to an end? The Crusaders didn't just win, they won in a way that perfectly reflected their identity: speed, discipline, and near-flawless precision in the first half. Leading 31-0 after just 30 minutes wasn't only a tactical advantage, it was the mark of a team deeply familiar with controlling the game.
Yet what moved me more was the image of Codie Taylor. 4 tries in his 150th match. On paper, it sounds like something scripted. But sport isn't cinema. There's no director, no staging, and that's exactly why moments like this are so valuable. I found myself thinking about the meaning of 150. It's not just a number of matches, it's time, resilience, unseen training days, injuries, substitutions, and moments of doubt. And then, on the very day of bidding farewell to a stadium tied to the team's history, he shines in the brightest way possible. From this, I take a clear lesson: persistence will eventually find its moment. It may not come when you expect it, but if you endure long enough, it will arrive at a meaningful time. I also realized something else: fans don't just cheer for points, they cheer for journeys. When Taylor left the field in the 51st minute to applause, it wasn't just recognition for a great performance, but gratitude for an entire career. It reminded me of life: sometimes what people remember isn't your greatest success, but your consistency and long-term dedication. Drua, despite the heavy loss, offered me a different perspective. They didn't give up. Even when trailing far behind, they kept scoring, kept fighting, kept trying to leave their mark. That matters just as much as winning. Because we're not always in a strong position. Sometimes, not giving up is already a victory.
Then came the Chiefs match, which told a different story, the story of opportunity. Karen Tomoefalau was not a standout name before, often on the sidelines. But when the opportunity came, he didn't just take it, he turned it into something impossible to ignore. It made me reflect on how I view opportunities in life. How many times have I thought, I'm not ready? How often have I delayed, because I didn't have a secure position? But sport shows me this. Sometimes you don't need a position, you just need a moment. And how you use that moment can shape your future. The coach will certainly have to rethink things. And that's the power of performance: not words, not potential, but concrete action at the right time. The Warriors, in contrast, made me think about the gap between potential and reality. They have young talents and bright spots, but against a well-functioning team, they couldn't keep up. This isn't just their failure, it's a reminder that potential needs time and the right environment to develop. Then came the Western Force match, where everything seemed flipped. A real shock. But what caught my attention wasn't just that they won, but how they won. Franco Molina, a player not typically associated with hat-tricks, became the hero. This broke my usual assumptions. I often think people have fixed roles, but this match showed that on a special day, anyone can become the center of the story. Force's victory also reminded me of something important. Surprises don't happen randomly. They are the result of preparation, belief, and making the most of small moments. They weren't just lucky, they created opportunities and turned them into advantages.
Still, the win wasn't perfect. Darby Lancaster's injury was a stark reminder, in sport, and in life, success often comes with a price. Not to diminish the victory, but to remind us that nothing is ever completely flawless. On the other side, the Reds offered another lesson, about missed opportunities. With a win, they could have reached the top 4. But they didn't. Now, tougher matches lie ahead. It made me think about decisions in life. There are moments that, if missed, make the road ahead much harder. Looking at the round as a whole, I felt a clear message. Standings can change quickly, but what truly matters is how each team responds to their circumstances. For me personally, the biggest lesson is the balance between persistence and readiness. Persistence like Taylor, readiness like Tomoefala, and resilience like Drewer. At the same time, accepting shocks like those faced by the Reds, and the price paid by force, for fans, this round is a reminder that sport is not just entertainment, it's a mirror of life. What happens on the field, effort, mistakes, opportunities, pressure, closely resembles what we experience every day, and for people in general, there's a deeper message. No journey is meaningless if you see it through to the end. A stadium may be left behind, a season may end, a position may change, but how we finish a chapter defines how others remember us. Perhaps the most important realization is this: you don't have to be the best at all times. You just need, at some moment, to do the best you can with what you have, like the Crusaders on their farewell day, like a substitute player seizing his moment, or like an underdog team creating an upset. Looking back, I no longer see this as just a round of matches. I see a collection of human stories, with all their complexity, emotion, and meaning. And that's what makes me want to keep watching, not just to know who wins, but to better understand how people face their defining moments.
Scrum Masters Elite _UK, goodbye with echoes of farewell. Shock and lessons. See you in the next round.